Hey lovelies, welcome to my YouTube channel. It's your girl Abasiibiangake Itina. If you are new here, welcome to Unscripted Life, and thanks for tuning in. To my OGs, the Unscripted tribe, you people are the real MVPs. You are the reason why I have the courage to always come back here to have a chit chat with us. Thank you so much for sticking with me on the streets of YouTube. Your girl is grateful. Anyway, I look so good today. I don't know the reason, but I just feel I'm happy to see the second day in the month of December. Happy new month, guys. The year is almost running to an end. Today, I want to discuss with us how to build an emergency fund. In my last video, I talked about what emergency fund is and why you need it. So today, let's talk about how to build an emergency fund and where to save it. Please note that I am not a professional. It's just that I have interest in finance. After all, everybody deals with finances, even though we are not taught in school. Since it's a topic that interests me, and I am also on a journey to achieving personal finance goals, that's why I'm here to share what I've learned so far. So please, if you are on this journey or you want to learn about finance, don't take it as a professional advice. Do your own research, but I'm just here to share what I have learned and what I'm trying to practice. So if it's a topic that interests you, then keep on watching. Please note that to have an emergency fund account, you have to have a separate account for it. Don't leave it with your savings account. Don't leave it with your investment account. So please have a separate account for emergency fund. From research and a lot of postulations I've read about in emergency fund, what is recommended is that you should have at least your 3 months to like 6 months living expenses. Let's say you earn 100,000 naira and your living expenses is 70,000 naira a month. How to keep your emergency fund is that you keep 70,000 times 3 or 70,000 times 6. That makes up your emergency fund account. But most, like Dave Ramsey, he talks about $1,000. The equivalent of $1,000 now to naira should be around. The naira is not stable, so I cannot really calculate, but you get the point. Whatever is naira, 1 naira currently to a dollar, you should calculate that by $1,000 and keep it. I know we are going through a lot of inflation, especially in Nigeria here, but then I feel that most times we will think it will get better or it will get worse. But the best thing to do is just for us to prepare against uncertainties or prepare for uncertainties. So please just start with your 3 months to 6 months living expenses. You don't need to put it in bulk at once. You can just start small. Before you know it, you've gotten your emergency fund account. The very first way you can build an emergency fund is by monetizing your hobby. Most of us have hobbies that we enjoy doing. We do it for people for free, but it would have given us a source of income. Even if you don't charge as professionals would charge, or people that take it as the main business would charge, but at least a certain percentage will go a long way. You don't need to use the money immediately. When you are paid for that hobby, you channel it into your emergency fund account. Another way you can build an emergency fund account is for you to have an extra source of income. If you are not a serial entrepreneur, maybe you have just a 9 to 5, I think it's high time you start something by the side. From research, I heard that an average millionaire has at least 7 sources of income. So if you have one source of income, endeavor to get at least one extra and build from there. From that, your extra source of income, you can be channeling into your emergency fund account. The third way you can build an emergency fund account is for you to include it in your budget. Just put it there as an expense. For instance, let's say you earn 10,000 naira and your expenses you've listed food, transportation, rent. Let's say your rent is 2,000, your transportation is 2,000. Just include emergency fund as 2,000 also, so that it could be deducted from your income. I'm using 10,000 as an example. I don't think there is anybody earning that minimum. I don't know, I might just be saying sure. But if you include it in your budget, you assign a particular percentage of your income to it and it's deducted, especially by automated deduction, it will go a long way. It doesn't need to be much. You just start slowly, slowly. Like I said in my last video, one of the ways that saving emergency funds can help us is for you to develop your saving habit. So by deducting, even if it's 1,000 to 2,000, before you know it, you've gotten to your emergency fund goals. So please budget and include it in your budget as an item. The third way you can build an emergency fund account is for you to cut down your expenses. I know there are some things you can't live without, but then you can never meet all your needs except you are a billionaire. So needs will always be there. It's just for you to cut down on it, prioritize that of importance. And when you cut the unnecessary expenses, you'll be able to get a certain amount of money that would have gone on your expenses to set it aside as your emergency fund. Even when you prioritize your spending, make sure you go for an affordable alternative. It will go a long way to help you with saving towards your emergency fund account. The fifth way, which also comes from this last option, is for you to learn DIYs. There are so many ways you can do things on your own. You can do your hair on your own by learning how to do them. You can fix your nails by yourself. You can do your makeup by yourself if those are the things that has been taking your sources. If you can hear any noise, just know that it's the sound of generator. There is no light. I'm using generator to film, but I don't know what is happening. It's making a lot of noise now. Like I said, please learn how to do things yourself. The popular DIY. You can learn how to make your hair, at least wash your hair, weave your hair by yourself. You can learn how to do your nails, maybe by doing press-on or stick-on nails. You can learn to decorate by yourself. You can learn to do certain things that you would normally spend money on. You just learn to do it. There are a lot of videos online where you can learn how to do certain things or everyday things like makeup on your own, so that that's money you would have spent paying the professionals to do it. You channel it to your emergency fund account. So please just learn how to do DIYs and practice before you know it will be perfect. I know there are people that eat out a lot, but I think if you practice how to cook and do certain things by yourself, it will go a long way and save you a lot of money, which can go into build your emergency fund. The sixth way you can build an emergency fund account is for you to declutter your house and sell off the stuffs you don't need, especially things that you bought and you've used maybe once or twice. Some you've not even used them or you don't have need for it. There are people that have need for it. Just declutter and sell and put in the extra cash in your emergency fund account. You can declutter your clothes, your shoes, your kitchen utensils, even decor in your house that doesn't serve its purpose any longer. You can declutter and sell. That extra cent, that extra cash, extra kobo goes to your emergency fund account. The seventh way you can build an emergency fund account, I think it still stems from cutting down on your expenses, is if you live in a high cost area and probably you have access to a lower cost area which gives you accessibility to your workplace, hospital, market. I don't see why you should continue living in the high cost area. You can move to that low cost area or a low cost house to save yourself the headache of paying too much house rent and channeling that money to your emergency fund account. For instance, if you are living alone or you are just a family of, let's say, two, and you are living in a mansion and paying rent, why don't you move to like a two-bedroom or probably a one-bedroom flat apartment and just build your financial muscle from there? Channel that money you would have paid to your landlord to your emergency fund account. It could go a long way to save you a lot of financial stress. And the last but not the least point I want to make on how to build an emergency fund account is have a spend freeze day, have a spend freeze month, have a spend freeze week. You can decide, okay, this is the amount of money I spend on eating out on so days or on so weeks or on so months. Okay, I'm not going to spend money buying, let's say, pizza this month or parfait, or let's say I'm not going to eat out today, or I'm not going to eat out this week, or I'm not going to eat out all through the month. I'm going to prepare my meal. So you have a spend freeze, like no spending day or no spending week or no spending month. This will help you channel the amount of money you've been spending on that particular item you are putting a freeze on to your emergency fund account. Like I said in the beginning of this video, I am not an expert, but if you've learned a thing or two, you understand that this is an everyday thing that, in fact, you can do without even blinking an eye. To the second part of the video, now you've known how to build an emergency fund account. Let's assume that you now have an emergency fund, and now the question is, what next? Because, like we know, emergency refers to uncertainties. It might happen or it might not happen. But this is what I want you to note. The money is still your money. You shouldn't just allow it sit somewhere just because you've given it a name, emergency fund account. So because emergency has not happened or you've not experienced it, let's say in a month, 2, 3, or 6, or even a year, you just allow it to sit and then your money is consumed by inflation. What you have to do now, you have your emergency fund account. Please know that it is different from an investment fund, but you can put it in a high yield savings account. We have a lot of them online now that all these startup companies are doing. We have piggy vest, we have Power Wise, and a lot more. At least those are the two I know. I use piggy vest and I know some of my friends that use Power Wise. This is not a sponsored video, but those are the high interest accounts you can put in that's your money so that it can yield interest while it's just sitting there for you. Another thing you should note about emergency fund is that you shouldn't use it for an high risk investment so that you will not end up losing your capital. You can put it in a high yield savings account, but don't risk it in a high risk investment. Why am I saying this? Make sure wherever you are putting your emergency fund account is accessible. You don't want to go through the rigors of withdrawal when you are under pressure or when you are under stress. Make sure it's accessible. For emergency, please note, emergency is not shopping. Emergency is not party. Emergency is not girls' night out. Emergency is not getting hair, getting makeup. Those are not emergencies. Emergencies, like we know, it could be hospital bills, it could be your car broke down, it could be house rent. I won't put house rent as an emergency because most times we save towards house rent, but for some people it will come as an emergency. So please make sure that wherever you're putting your emergency fund is accessible when emergency arises. In all this, in all what I've said, I know even when you've had the money, you've reached your emergency fund goal, in the time of desperation, in the time of need, in the time you need to use it, still use it as if it's your hard-earned money. Don't make rash decisions or don't make bad financial decisions in the time of crisis or in the time of desperation. You can come out of an emergency need and still have some of your emergency fund intact because of how you were meticulous about that period. So please make sure you don't make rash decisions. That's the end of this video. I hope you've gotten value out of it. If you've learned a lot in this video, share it with your friends and family. Please don't hide me. If you've gotten value from this video, just share me with your friends, your family, your colleagues. Share it in your family group chats, your church group chats. Share it with your friends, your foes. Like, in fact, everybody. I just want to be announced. Announce me. Let me shine. We are entering a new year, and I've not met my goals for this year on YouTube. But you're still watching me without sharing my videos. Please, if you love my face, if you love my content, if you've gotten value from my content, make sure you share it and then like the video. It gives me visibility on YouTube. It makes YouTube recommend the videos to other persons. Let me learn from you also how you built your emergency fund if you've done that already, or tips that can help us build our emergency fund. I am here to learn from you in as much as you're learning from me. Until next time, be serious and stay blessed. Bye, people.